There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of its knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone. The Hitch Hicker. Story by Lucille Fletcher. Original teleplay by Rod Serling. Her name is Nan Adams. She's 27 years old. Her occupation? Buyer at a New York department store. At present, on vacation, driving cross country to Los Angeles, California from Manhattan. A minor incident on Highway 11 in Pennsylvania, perhaps to be filed away under accidents you would walk away from. But from this moment on, Nan Adams' companion on her trip to California will be terror. Nan Adams, 27, on a cross-country road trip from New York City to Los Angeles, gets a flat tire on US Route 11 in Pennsylvania and has an accident. A mechanic puts a spare tire on her car, comments that he's surprised she survived the accident, saying, "You shouldn't have called for a mechanic, somebody should have called for a hearse," and directs her to follow him to the nearest town to fix it properly. Just before she leaves, Nan notices a shabby and strange-looking man hitchhiking. But the mechanic doesn't see him when she mentions it. Unnerved, she drives away. As she continues her trip, Nan sees the same hitchhiker, thumbing for a ride again in Virginia, and at several other points on her journey. Everywhere she goes, she sees the same hitchhiker, no matter how far she drives. She grows increasingly frightened of him. When she sees him on the other side of a railroad crossing, she tries to drive away, but gets stuck on the tracks and is nearly hit by a train. She becomes convinced that the hitchhiker is trying to kill her. She continues to drive, becoming more and more afraid, stopping only when necessary. Every time she stops, the hitchhiker is there. Nan takes a side road in New Mexico, but gets stranded when she runs out of gas. She reaches a gas station on foot, but it's closed. She gets startled by a sailor on his way back to San Diego from leave. Eager for protection from the hitchhiker, she offers to drive the sailor to San Diego. The sailor persuades the gas station attendant to provide gas. As they drive together and discuss their mutual predicaments, she sees the hitchhiker on the road and swerves toward him. The sailor, who can't see him, questions her driving, and she admits she was trying to run over the hitchhiker. The sailor begins to fear for his safety and leaves her, despite her efforts to have him stay, even offering to go out with him. In Arizona, Nan stops to call her mother. The woman who answers the phone says Miss Adams is in the hospital, having suffered a nervous breakdown after finding out that her daughter, Nan, died in Pennsylvania 6 days ago when the car she was driving blew a tire and overturned. Nan realizes the truth. She never survived the accident, and the hitchhiker is none other than the personification of death, patiently and persistently waiting for her to realize that she's been dead all along. She loses all emotion and concern, feeling empty. Nan returns to the car and looks in the vanity mirror. On the visor, instead of her reflection, she sees in her place the hitchhiker, who says, "I believe you're going my way." Nan Adams, age 27. She was driving to California, to Los Angeles. She didn't make it. There was a detour through the Twilight Zone.